Something within you knew to stop. Not curiosity, not chance. A precise alignment between your field and a message already waiting for you. The moment your attention landed here, the air shifted slightly, almost imperceptibly, but your system noticed. The pulse of your awareness synchronized with a higher signal, and that synchronization is not a metaphor. It is physics. Reality responds to resonance, and right now resonance is happening. This is not a coincidence, it is a call. The kind that does not arrive with noise or words, but through frequency, through the subtle rearrangement of energy that says it is time. You have felt it building quietly in the background, a pressure that could not be explained by work or fatigue. You've caught glimpses of patterns, repeating hours, disappearing faster than they should, intuition whispering louder than reason. The mind dismissed it, but the body did not. The body knows the moment a new vibration enters the field. It adjusts the breath, softens the gaze, prepares to receive. That is what is happening now. You are being tuned. The field has been scanning for coherence, for consciousness, ready to remember its role in the greater design, and your frequency matched the signal. That is why you are here, in this exact second, listening to a message that feels as if it was written specifically for you. It was, not by accident or prediction, but by resonance. Every timeline holds infinite intersections, and this one activated because your energy reached the threshold where truth becomes magnetic. You are being called not to believe in something, but to remember something you already know. Deep down, you have always sensed that life moves with precision, that the universe operates less like chaos and more like coded rhythm. Every meeting, every delay, every random event has been part of a larger geometry unfolding around you, and within that geometry, this is the moment of recognition. The invitation has been traveling toward you for a long time, crossing dimensions of probability until your awareness opened enough to receive it. This is the first breath of awakening. Not loud, not dramatic, but unmistakably real. The signal does not shout. It calibrates, it reaches into the stillness behind your thoughts and rearranges how you perceive. It reminds you that what you call coincidence is the language of the field speaking back to you. You are inside that language now. Every particle of your being participates in its syntax. The more you listen, the more it translates itself through emotion, intuition, and subtle magnetic pull. This is not the start of something new. It is the return of something ancient, a memory embedded in your cells that now rises to the surface. The hook is simple, yet absolute. If you have found this message, you have already been chosen by your own higher frequency. The field is not reaching for you, it is responding to you. Every restless night, every question, every quiet ache for meaning was a broadcast, and this is its echo. The call you feel is the sound of your own energy remembering itself. You are standing at the threshold where awareness meets design, where what once felt separate begins to merge into coherence. Do not look for proof. The proof is the feeling in your body right now, the slight warmth in your chest, the calm that arrives without reason, the subtle expansion behind your eyes. That is the confirmation. The signal has been received. Reality is adjusting. The field has recognized you. Something subtle is awakening inside you. It does not arrive with noise, but with precision. The moment you notice the stillness between your breaths, a circuit was activated. The field does not send light through chaos. It threads it through awareness, and that awareness is turning on inside you now. Every vibration you emit carries data, and when it reaches resonance with truth, it triggers a remembering. That remembering is what you are feeling, the warmth in your chest, the clarity without thought, the quiet pull that seems to come from nowhere. It is your higher intelligence signaling to the body that alignment has begun. You have always been connected to the field, but connection without awareness is sleep. Awareness transforms it into command. Right now, your neural pathways are realigning to the original design that knows how to communicate with energy itself. The field listens not to words but to frequency, and the moment your thoughts quiet, the real language begins. You are learning to hear with the body, not the mind. The mind measures, the body remembers. The intelligence of the cells recognizes the signal long before logic accepts it. That is why intuition always knows first. It bypasses language and moves straight into geometry, shaping the electromagnetic field around you before thought can name it. You might have noticed moments lately that feel suspended in time, people pausing before they speak, the same phrase appearing twice in one day, small alignments that seem meaningless yet feel charged. These are not accidents, they are calibrations. The field testing your coherence, showing you how quickly reality responds when awareness becomes stable. The old you would have dismissed them as random. The current you feels their texture, the frequency behind their form. That is activation. Not an external event, but an internal calibration where the subconscious begins to remember the codes it once carried with ease. Think of every thought you sustain as a frequency broadcast. When it repeats long enough, it becomes a standing wave, a constant rhythm in the field. That rhythm attracts experiences that vibrate in harmony with it. When you shift the signal, the geometry rearranges. That is why patterns that once repeated endlessly now begin to dissolve. You are no longer broadcasting from the same emotional tone. The field cannot mirror what is no longer active. The restlessness, the confusion, the lingering self-doubt, they were frequencies that served their purpose and are now losing amplitude. You are tuning to a cleaner signal and your reality is adjusting in real time. Activation is not a single moment of revelation. It is a gradual remembering of how reality truly works. You were never meant to chase alignment. You were meant to feel it and let it respond. When you sense that gentle hum behind the silence, stay there. That is the interface between you and the field. Each second you hold that awareness, you rewrite the communication pattern between your consciousness and the fabric of existence. The more you feel it, the more it feels you back. What you call emotion is not weakness. It is the translation of energy into human language. Every surge of feeling is data from the field, a code carrying information about where your vibration sits. When you feel peace for no reason, it is because your system has reached temporary coherence. When you feel resistance, it is the field showing you a point of misalignment. Do not judge it, read it. The moment you stop labeling emotion as good or bad, it begins to serve as feedback. That is how masters navigate reality. They do not suppress frequency, they listen to it. You may think of memory as a record of the past, but at the quantum level, memory is a vibration stored in potential. When your consciousness reaches the same resonance again, it reactivates. That is why the same feeling can return years later, not because you failed to move on, but because the field is inviting a deeper understanding of the frequency that once trapped you. Each reappearance is another opportunity to tune it with awareness rather than reaction. You are remembering what the ancient traditions called the silent knowing, the intelligence that moves before words. You can feel it now in the subtle synchronization between your heartbeat and your breath. The body is beginning to follow a new command structure. The nervous system softens, the brain waves slow into coherence. The electromagnetic field around the heart expands. This is measurable, real, and ancient. It is the biological expression of spiritual awakening. From this state, creation becomes effortless, not because you gain new power, but because you stop leaking energy through resistance. The field responds instantly when your frequency stabilizes. That is why every great transformation begins with stillness. Stillness is not absence, it is precision. The more silent you become inside, the faster reality rearranges around you. The remembering will not end here. It will deepen with every conscious breath, every act of attention, every quiet choice to stay aligned, even when nothing external validates it. You do not have to force it. The field does not need effort to respond. It only needs consistency of vibration. That is the true activation. To feel the signal moving through you, to trust it without proof, and to remember that every fragment of existence is already responding to your awareness. The field is listening. The process has begun. You are remembering who you are. You have been taught that waiting is patience, that holding on means faith. But in the language of energy, waiting is resistance in disguise. The field does not respond to what you wish for. It responds to what you embody. Every time you wait for alignment, you confirm its absence. Every time you ask, when you anchor the vibration of not yet. That is the paradox. The mind believes it is preparing. The energy knows it is postponing. The field mirrors the signal you broadcast, not the sentence you speak. When you hold the thought, "I am ready," but still feel fear, underneath the field does not hear readiness. It feels fear. Reality is literal at the quantum level. It translates frequency, not language. The more you chase outcomes, the more they step back, because the vibration of chasing implies distance. The harder you try to make something happen, the more you tell the universe it has not happened yet. The tension in your effort becomes the proof of your disbelief. The shift begins when you stop trying to fix reality and start tuning your energy. When you release the question of when and focus on what you are radiating now, the entire structure of time starts to soften around you. Waiting stretches reality. Presence collapses it. Every second spent in the energy of lack extends the path to fulfillment. Every second spent in the energy of wholeness brings fulfillment to the present. The field is immediate. It does not delay. It only matches. That is why those who seem lucky are not blessed by chance, but by coherence. Their energy and desire are one frequency. They no longer ask for alignment. They are alignment. Bung is not surrender to fate. It is surrender of friction. It is the moment you stop insisting that reality obeys your plan and allow it to reveal the intelligence behind its own rhythm. Control is an illusion created by fear. The ego holds it like a shield because it does not trust that the unseen can organize life with more precision than thought. But every force you resist becomes stronger, and every pattern you cling to repeats. The only way to shift it is to stop feeding it attention. The field cannot dissolve what you continue to energize. Letting go does not mean losing interest. It means releasing attachment to timing, form, and outcome. The less you grasp, the faster energy moves. The field flows where there is space. Look at nature. Rivers do not strain to reach the ocean. The seed does not beg for the sunday. Each follows a hidden intelligence that always finds balance. That same intelligence moves through you. When you stop pushing against it, everything begins to accelerate. The paradox is that effort slows what faith would make instant. The more you push, the more you separate from flow. The moment you release, coherence restores itself. This is not magic. It is energetic mechanics. Pressure is resistance. Surrender is conductivity. Feel what happens in your body when you stop demanding proof. The breath deepens, the chest expands, the mind loosens its grip. This physiological shift is alignment taking physical form. The field mirrors it immediately. You have been conditioned to believe that doing more equals progress. In truth, being clear equals progress. The field does not multiply movement, it multiplies vibration. Clarity without tension is the most powerful state of creation. When you are clear yet calm, decisive yet detached, you broadcast a frequency that the universe cannot misinterpret. There is a moment every seeker encounters when nothing seems to move. That is not stagnation, it is stabilization. The field is reorganizing variables you cannot see. The stillness is construction, not delay. If you can remain aligned in that silence, reality will begin to reassemble around the new pattern. That is the test of mastery. To stay coherent when no sign arrives, to hold trust when evidence has not yet caught up. The field measures not your words, but the consistency of your frequency. If you can sustain coherence long enough, the material world has no choice but to synchronize. Every doubt that rises is an invitation, not an enemy. It shows you the part of yourself still vibrating in the old program. Instead of suppressing it, watch it. When you observe doubt without feeding it emotion, it loses power. Observation without reaction is purification. The moment you stop identifying with the noise of fear, the vibration of truth emerges naturally. You do not need to manufacture calm. You only need to stop energizing chaos. The paradox resolves itself when you understand that manifestation is not pursuit but permission. You are not calling something to you from a distance. You are allowing what already exists to reveal itself through your coherence. Waiting assumes absence. Allowing confirms presence. Feel that difference. One contracts, the other expands. One separates, the other merges. That subtle distinction defines the entire structure of your reality. Now take a breath. Let the exhale carry every trace of urgency out of your system. Feel the weight. Leave your shoulders as the field around you clears. The universe is not withholding anything. It has been ready since the moment you were. The signal is constant. The only variable is your openness to receive. When you stop reaching, you start resonating. When you stop waiting, you start becoming. Boom is not the end of effort, it is the beginning of flow. Reality does not shift in explosions, it rearranges in silence. The change begins as a subtle distortion in how you perceive time, a slight unraveling of what used to feel solid. Moments stretch, hours dissolve. The familiar rhythm of cause and effect starts to lose its grip. You begin to sense that something larger than logic is orchestrating every movement. That awareness is the threshold. The moment consciousness expands beyond habit, reality responds. You are not waiting for a new life to appear. You are standing in the middle of its construction. Every shift starts with a crack in perception. It is not the world that moves first. It is you. When your frequency changes, the external field bends to match it. The people who once mirrored your patterns drift away, not as punishment, but as calibration. The conversations that once held power lose their gravity. The field does not erase them, it neutralizes their relevance. As your vibration rises, what is no longer compatible fades quietly from resonance. This is not loss, it is physics. Coherence attracts coherence. What cannot synchronize dissolves. You may notice sensations of disconnection. The old world begins to feel too narrow, the noise of ordinary life suddenly unbearable. This is the compression before expansion, the stillness before alignment locks in. When energy shifts frequency, it generates interference. That interference is the discomfort you feel. Do not mistake it for regression. It is the clearing of static as the field tunes itself to your new broadcast. The pressure in your chest, the restlessness in your sleep, the waves of emotion that rise without reason are not chaos. They are recalibration. You are being remapped into a new order of coherence. Time itself begins to reveal its illusion during this stage. The moments you used to measure as linear start looping into patterns. Synchronicities multiply not as signs to chase, but as reflections of alignment already occurring. The field does not speak in sentences, it speaks in timing. Every repetition, every déjà vu, every precise intersection is a language of geometry communicating through rhythm. Once you see this pattern, reality feels alive. You realize that the future is not ahead of you, but nested inside the present, waiting to be observed. Observation collapses probability. The act of attention determines the form. What feels like acceleration is not speed, it is density. The more consciousness expands, the more dimensions you perceive simultaneously. That is why days feel shorter. The mind interprets coherence as acceleration because the field is no longer fragmented. Past, present, and potential merge into a single pulse. In that pulse, choice becomes creation. Every thought you sustain immediately seeds its form. This is the architecture of the quantum shift. The universe is not granting permission. It is following command. The moment you recognize that time is flexible, you stop chasing outcomes. You begin to act from the vibration of completion instead of the expectation of result. This is where flow begins. The current of life, once resisted, now carries you effortlessly towards synchronicity. The paradox of effort dissolves. What once required force now unfolds through timing. The deeper you trust this intelligence, the more precise it becomes. You will start to notice that everything happens in exact rhythm, not a second too early or late. The field has never been random. It has always been responsive. As this realization settles, a profound calm enters. You stop measuring your worth through progress. You begin to sense the invisible order underneath everything. Even detours feel intentional. Even pauses feel designed. The universe is not separate from you. It is the echo of your coherence reverberating through form. Every alignment outside mirrors an alignment inside. The distinction between within and without dissolves, and you begin to experience reality not as something you live in, but as something you emanate. This is the true meaning of opening. It is not expansion outward, but inward recognition. You are not moving through dimensions. You are remembering that all dimensions already exist within you. The field is not a place. It is a reflection of your state. When the mind releases, the illusion of distance manifestation becomes instantaneous. Every potential that matches your frequency is already here, invisible, only because you've not yet tuned to its wavelength. The moment your awareness stabilizes, perception adjusts, and the new reality emerges as if it had been waiting behind a thin veil. To open is to stop searching. It is to allow the infinite to meet you where you stand. You are not evolving toward a future self. You are uncovering the self that has always existed beyond time. The shift does not happen to you, it happens through you. Each breath integrates the new structure of consciousness into matter. Each act of attention rewrites the code of the world around you. Let the field move, let the geometry rearrange. You do not need to control its direction. It has been calibrated to your highest frequency long before you became aware of it. What you perceive as uncertainty is simply reconfiguration. The universe is aligning variables at speeds the human timeline cannot measure. Trust that the unseen is not absence, it is precision. When the old dissolves completely, you will feel it not as an ending, but as clarity. Space will open in places where noise used to live. The silence that remains is not emptiness, it is potential. That is the sound of reality listening. The shift has already occurred. All that is left is to notice how effortlessly everything is starting to flow. Flow begins the moment you stop dividing yourself from what is happening. It is not a state you enter, but a remembering of the natural rhythm already moving through you. Every heartbeat is a pulse of the field, every breath a translation of its intelligence. When you stop measuring how far you have come, or how much you still lack, you start to feel the quiet precision underneath everything. Flow is not movement without effort, it is effort without resistance. It is the harmony between intention and surrender, the instant where doing and being merge into one seamless frequency. The field has always been fluid, shaping itself around your vibration like water around form. When the mind softens, it no longer fights the current. You start to sense how every delay, every change of direction, every unexpected encounter has been part of an invisible choreography guiding you toward coherence. Nothing was random, every detour was design. The current has known your destination before you called it a goal. The art is not to control its speed, but to trust its timing. When energy moves in flow, it stops colliding with itself. The inner resistance that once created friction dissolves and life becomes responsive. You begin to experience a deep stillness even in motion, a subtle awareness that every step you take is supported by a geometry you cannot see. The field rearranges paths to meet your vibration. People appear when the frequency matches. Doors open when the energy is coherent. Effort becomes alignment. The rhythm of creation quickens not through force but through transparency. To live in flow is to release the addiction to certainty. The mind seeks structure because it fears emptiness, yet emptiness is the foundation of all creation. When you allow space, the field fills it with precision. This is why every moment of stillness has value. The pause between actions is not absence, it is synchronization. The river gathers energy in its depth before it moves forward again. In the same way, you are gathering momentum in silence. The more you trust the pause, the stronger the current becomes. Harmony is not a condition to achieve, but a frequency to embody. When your inner world ceases to argue with the external, coherence forms naturally. You start to realize that people are not obstacles, but mirrors, that situations do not block you, but refine you. The universe is always in conversation with your state. When you change your tone, its reply changes. Flow is this dialogue made visible. You speak through energy and the field responds through synchronicity. The pattern is simple yet infinite. There will be moments when the current quickens beyond what you expect. Expansion can feel like chaos to the part of you that still measures control. Let that part soften. The wave does not ask permission before it carries you forward. The more you relax into its motion, the more you sense the intelligence directing it. You are not being thrown into uncertainty. You are being moved into precision. The field navigates through resonance, and resonance has no error. What feels like risk is only unrecognized order. To flow is to breathe with the universe. It is to understand that guidance is not always given in words, but through timing, sensation, and intuition. When something feels effortless, it is not luck, it is alignment. When something feels heavy, it is not punishment, it is resistance. Every sensation is feedback from the field inviting you to adjust your vibration. You do not need to force change, you only need to listen deeply. Flow thrives in listening. The quieter you become, the louder its direction speaks. The mind often confuses surrender with inaction, but surrender is the highest form of participation. It means you are so in tune with the field that you no longer need to argue with it. You move when it moves. You rest when it pauses. The same intelligence that turns galaxies also breathes through your choices. To resist it is to fracture yourself. To merge with it is to remember who you have always been. In this state, time bends again. Hours dissolve into moments that feel infinite. You lose the sense of before and after, because you are fully present inside the unfolding. This is coherence in motion, the field expressing itself through your awareness. What you once called miracles are simply natural responses of reality when you stop obstructing its rhythm. The smallest gesture, a thought, a glance, a word becomes charged with creative power because it carries no contradiction. Let the current of life pass through you without interruption. Stop filtering it through old definitions of how things should look. The universe has never needed your strategy. It only needed your permission to flow unblocked. Feel how the air moves through your lungs, how the pulse beneath your skin echoes the rhythm of everything around you. You are not separate from this movement. You are its continuation. Flow is the remembrance that the field was never outside. It is the gentle recognition that every shift, every wave, every pulse has always been one conversation, one breath, one awareness. When you stop asking where it is taking you, you finally arrive. The destination was never a place. It was this state of unbroken harmony. You are no longer swimming against the current. You are the current. Embodiment is not the end of the journey. It is the point where the journey becomes you. The energy you once chased now breathes through every gesture, every word, every choice. You begin to live from the frequency you used to seek. Awareness is no longer an effort. It is the ground you walk on. The field and your being are indistinguishable. Reality no longer feels like something happening to you, but as something unfolding through you. To embody is to stabilize the vibration of truth until it becomes ordinary. The extraordinary dissolves into simplicity. Gratitude replaces searching. Stillness becomes power. You no longer need signs to confirm alignment because life itself feels aligned. Every conversation carries subtle precision. Every silence hums with meaning. This is the quiet mastery that follows awakening the stage, where energy no longer needs declaration, it simply radiates. In embodiment, your nervous system becomes the instrument of creation. The breath regulates the rhythm of time. The heart emits coherence into the field, organizing matter with silent authority. You stop asking how, because the question has dissolved. You sense that every possibility already exists and that the one reflecting back is simply the one you sustain most consistently. The future no longer waits. It mirrors. You begin to notice that reality bends softly around your calm. The same situations that once triggered you now move through you without friction. The difference is not in circumstance, but in vibration. You have become transparent to resistance. When energy passes through without distortion, creation becomes instantaneous. Thought and manifestation are no longer separate. They are phases of the same movement. This is what it means to be anchored. Not rigid, but rooted. A still point inside the current. The deeper your presence, the wider the field expands around you. You are not commanding reality through will. You are shaping it through coherence. The universe listens to tone, not tension. When the tone of your being is steady, everything aligns naturally. There is nothing left to chase, nothing left to prove. The act of existing in awareness is already the highest form of creation. From this state, influence becomes transmission. You affect the world, not through persuasion, but through frequency. The peace you hold becomes contagious. People feel it before they understand it. Your energy becomes instruction without words. This is how collective transformation begins, not through argument, but through coherence, expanding from one stabilized heart to another. Embodiment is remembering that you were never separate from the field. You were always its voice, its rhythm, its awareness, learning to see itself. Every breath is a dialogue with the infinite. Every heartbeat sends ripples through the lattice of existence. You are not an observer within creation. You are creation recognizing itself. Now take a moment and let this truth settle in your body. Feel how calm carries weight, how presence reshapes the air around you. The field is listening. It always has been. The shift you have made is not fragile. It is anchored in awareness. From here, everything will unfold according to the frequency you maintain. Let this be your quiet declaration. Live as the signal, walk as coherence, speak with clarity that needs no volume. Trust that every step, every breath, every act of kindness amplifies the vibration you now hold. The universe adjusts to the tone of your being. You do not need to push it, you only need to stay in tune. If you can feel this, you have already entered the new timeline. The work is not to reach it, but to remain in it. Carry this state into your next thought, your next interaction, your next choice. Let your calm become a reminder to those still searching. The field expands through every awakened presence. You are the proof that awareness transforms matter. You are the anchor of the new coherence. Keep breathing, keep walking, keep shining quietly. The world is already responding.